So in this video, we are going to install SAP Business Objects 4.2 server. Will be installing on Microsoft Windows 7 Service Pack 1 Ultimate version. You can install it on any Windows flavor pretty much. To install, you want to make sure you have a schema created for Business Objects repository, which I did right here in Oracle 11G, which we installed in previous videos. You can see we don't have any tables right now. There is nothing. It's a blank schema at this point. And so let's go to Business Objects. I have downloaded my SAP 4.2 software right here. It comes in zip file. All you have to do, you don't have to unzip it, just double click on it and it will invoke uninstaller or unzipper, and it will also unzip this piece. It takes quite a bit time. It's about 4 gig of software. So let it go through its process, and once it's uninstalled, we'll continue on this video. So it's asking us for install. Click on install. Now I started unzipping. It's going to take quite a bit time. So when it unzips. When unzip completes, it creates this folder right in the directory by default. You double click there, then you go to data units, business object server windows, then you click right click, run as administrator. That's always the best option. Yes. Pick up setup language. Okay. So it's asking for a reboot server and also the Windows versions. So I'm going to pause this video and reboot the server. So after the reboot, I invoke installer again. Now we are going to go through the same steps. It's all fine. All the prereqs being succeeded. Next. Next. You accept the agreement. And it's going to ask for the product key. I'm going to skip that step. Going to provide the product key and I'll click on next. So I provided the key and click next. English is good. Next. And we are going to do custom expand, because if you do full, it's going to install MySQL database. We are going to do custom. You also have a choice to just install web tier of it. Custom expanded. Take the default location for the software to be installed. Right here, we get to pick what we want to install and not. Leave web tier in there. We need it. Servers. Do pick all the servers. There are some services you don't need this Sybase SQL anywhere. Rest of the servers, yes. If you want Subversion inside Action, I don't care much about it. So leave rest in there. Data connectivity services, fine. Data federator, really don't need it. We don't need analysis services as well. We don't need crystal reports. Web intelligence, fine. We don't need business warehouse, which is really a SAP data warehouse. Administrative tools, fine. We don't need developers tools like SDKs and .NET SDKs, so not going to do that. Database, these are the ODBC drivers, so I'm not going to install all the ODBC drivers, but rather generic JDBC, OLE, DB, data direct ODBC is fine. How about Microsoft SQL Server? We use that a lot. Access, yes. We can keep going. Oracle, definitely, because that's where our repository is going to be. Nothing else really at this point. This is good. We need that web service connector, SAB, yeah, Business Object Universe as well. Samples are good. We need those. And now it's going to ask you if we are starting a brand new deployment or expanding our current one. It's a brand new, so that is good. Now it's asking where is our repository is going to be. So CMS is going to be Oracle. Click next. Auditing database. Again, you can have separate auditing schema, but in this case we are going to do the same in same repository auditing and repository BO repo that we have. So that is good. It's gonna pick up the server name as a default node, that is SIS default port 6410, CMS port 6400, and now administrator password. So I provided administrator passwords and cluster key. Make sure you make a note of those two. You do need them. DNS names for Oracle BO repository. That's what I have. It should connect fine. And it did. Now same thing for the auditing. We are putting in the same schema. So I mistyped the password. So let's do that again. Right here. Your repo. That's what it was. Port, shutdown port, redirect port. You need all these ports so you can put that in your firewall on the server as input and output port being open. HTTP listening port. All these ports needs to be open for inbound and outbound. Do not need to configure SMD agent. We don't need to worry about Interscope Enterprise Manager. Click next and start the installation. Now, depending on your CPU, RAM, and your server configuration, it can take an hour or it can take 20 minutes. So we are going to pause this video and we'll come back once it's completed. So once the installation is completed, post-installation steps screen will show up. Just click on next and it has finished the installation. Now let's go into our CCM, which is Central Configuration Manager, by going into all programs, and right here you have Business Intelligence SAP and you have CCM. So I already have that up. Make sure your Tomcat web server is running. This is your SIA, Central Intelligence Server. You can also check if other servers are running, so you can log in as administrator and you can connect, and all the servers are running fine. Let's go to the web interface of it. Right here I'm gonna log in as administrator. And this is the address for CMC web portal. Save it. Password should come up. There is a wizard for system configuration. I'm going to exit out from there. We don't need this. Just close it. And this is where you have your CMC, Central Management Console. So configuration installation went successfully. Now let's look at the home directory where SAP Business Objects is installed. Right here, here's your Tomcat. Let's also look at the repository in the database that we created. Now we should have tables created underneath. Let's see, it should be coming up. Let's refresh it. And you have Now here you have all these tables for SAP Business Objects repository. All the tables with prefix ADS are your auditing tables, and all the other ones are your SAP Business Objects Repository CMS Central Management Server. Uh, all the data is encrypted within the repository. You can look at it except for the usernames. These are default usernames are in there, and everything else you can see is encrypted. That ends our Business Objects 4.2 server installation video.